Dhaka, 1921. An ash-smeared sannyasi walks into public view, and people recognize a prince declared dead 12 years earlier. This is the Bhowal case, and the question is whether a dead man returned or an imposter fooled 3 courts. But resemblance was only the beginning. The man claimed to be Ramendra Narayan Roy, the Second Kumar of Bhawal, whose death and cremation had apparently occurred in Darjeeling in 1909. If he proved that identity, he would regain an undivided 1/3 interest in a vast landed estate. If he failed, he would be exposed as one of history's boldest impostors. Ramendra belonged to Bhawal's ruling family and was one of its 3 Kumars. The estate's wealth came with status, inheritance disputes, and the close attention of colonial administrators. The family seat stood at Jaidepur in eastern Bengal, north of Dhaka. Here, tenants knew the Kumars not merely as distant names, but as visible figures woven into estate life. In April 1909, Ramendra traveled to the Himalayan town of Darjeeling with his wife, Bibabati Devi, relatives, servants, and medical attendants. Their destination was a house called Step Aside. The 20-something prince became seriously ill in early May. Doctors attended him, medicines were prescribed, and the household watched his condition deteriorate. Both sides agreed on one crucial point. Ramendra was taken for dead on 8th of May. Almost everything said to have happened afterward became fiercely disputed. The defense said the prince died around midnight and remained at Step Aside overnight. The next morning, a funeral party carried his body away and completed a normal cremation. If that account was true, the mystery ended at the cremation ground. The man who appeared 12 years later could not have been Ramendra. The claimant offered a radically different account. He alleged that medicine had poisoned him, leaving him unconscious and only apparently dead when he was carried out that evening. According to his side, a violent storm drove the funeral party away from the cremation ground. When they returned, the body had vanished. A substitute body, the claimant's supporters alleged, was cremated the next morning. Meanwhile, Naga Sannyasis supposedly found the missing man alive and carried him away. These were allegations, not settled facts. Defense witnesses disputed the timing, weather registers challenged the storm, and medical arguments never established a proven criminal poisoning conspiracy. The prescription evidence included arsenic, among other drugs, but its meaning was contested. A suspicious ingredient was not the same thing as proof of an attempted murder. The storm story faced the same problem. Witnesses described rain and interruption, while official records and other testimony were used to argue that no such storm struck the relevant place. Then came the missing years. The claimant said he recovered without knowing who he was and traveled across India with ascetics, separated from his former name and life. No surviving record independently reconstructs that entire 12-year interval. It is the largest blank in the case, and every later claim had to cross it. Around December 1920 or January 1921, an ash-smeared ascetic appeared in Dhaka. He initially sat in public silence, attracting attention before making any royal claim. Rumor moved faster than certainty. Visitors saw a face, build, and presence that reminded them of the lost Second Kumar, and word spread toward the Bhowal estate. Relatives, acquaintances, and tenants came to inspect him. Each encounter created another story of recognition, but recognition could be sincere, mistaken, or influenced by expectation. The claimant was eventually brought to Jaidepur, where the pressure intensified. People asked his name, his parentage, and why he resembled a man believed dead. On the 4th of May 1921, the silence broke. Before an expectant gathering at Jaidepur, The ascetic declared that he was Ramendra Narayan Roy, son of Raja Rajendra Narayan Roy. Support spread through the estate. Some relatives accepted him, and many tenants treated the declaration as the return of their Kumar rather than the arrival of a stranger. His sister Jyotirmoyi Devi became a prominent supporter. She and others said his appearance, habits, memories, and bodily marks connected him to the brother they had known. Yet the person whose recognition seemed most important refused it. Bipabati Devi, the second Kumar's widow, rejected the claimant and would not meet him. Other family members also denied him. Their refusal created a brutal contradiction. People who had known Ramendra stood on both sides, each claiming certainty. On the 3rd of June 1921, the Colonial Revenue Administration treated the claimant as an imposter. Public recognition had collided with official power. The Court of Wards administered the estate and had institutional interests at stake. The widowed Ranis, administrators and tenants did not approach the claimant from neutral positions. For many tenants, the case also expressed anger toward estate management. Belief in the returned Kumar could be personal loyalty, political resistance, or both. The claimant's evidence accumulated piece by piece. Witnesses tested his memory of relatives, servants, rooms, habits, and private events, hoping one detail would settle everything. No single memory became an unquestionable key. Correct answers supported him, but mistakes could be blamed on illness, lost years, or the limits of anyone's recollection. The body became another archive. Lawyers compared scars, skin, teeth, eyes, gait, and voice with descriptions of the missing prince. The lower court could regard brownish or hazel eyes as supporting evidence. Scars near the elbows were compared with ulcers reportedly suffered by Ramendra. Yet resemblance and scars could not produce a modern forensic identification. There were no fingerprints or genetic tests capable of closing the question for later historians. Language opened a deeper crack. The ascetic first spoke mainly Hindustani and seemed unable to communicate like a Bengali prince who had once used Bengali and some English. The defense argued that a true Bengali aristocrat should have retained his language, education, and elite knowledge. His gaps, they said, exposed an outsider. His supporters answered that Ramendra had never been as polished as the defense claimed. Years among northern ascetics, illness and disuse could explain changed speech. The trial judge accepted evidence that the claimant could speak Bengali by May 1921. He did not treat weak English or missing sporting vocabulary as fatal. But the defense did not rely only on inconsistencies. It supplied another name, another homeland, and witnesses claiming to know exactly who the ascetic was. Their theory named him as Mal Singh, a Punjabi Sikh later initiated as the ascetic Sundardas. If proven, that identity would destroy the Bhowal claim at once. Witnesses from Punjab identified the claimant, and a man presented as his guru supported the account. The defense now had more than doubt. It had a competing biography. The claimant's lawyers attacked the process behind those identifications. They questioned prior statements, credibility, coaching, and how distant witnesses had been found and brought to Dhaka. The Mal Singh theory, therefore, became contested evidence, not an independently verified answer. The case now contained two identities, each supported by witnesses and attacked by the other side. Even the alleged rescue could not solve that problem. Dasan Das described finding and helping the man near the cremation ground, but rescue alone could not prove whom he had rescued. That distinction became essential. A man might have survived a cremation attempt without being Ramendra, or be Ramendra even if parts of the rescue account were wrong. In July 1930, the claimant finally filed a civil title suit in Dhaka. He sought legal recognition and possession of his one-third share. The trial began in late November 1933 and ran until 21 May 1936, roughly 608 trial days. The courtroom became a warehouse of memory, rumor, science, and family history. The printed compilation records 1,069 witnesses for the plaintiff and 479 for the defense. More than 2,000 photographs and documents poured into the case. Witnesses arrived from Bengal, Darjeeling, and Punjab. Doctors, relatives, servants, tenants, ascetics, and experts offered fragments that sometimes aligned and often collided. Judge Panalal Bose had to decide a civil question. Had the plaintiff proved that he was the second Kumar? He was not judging a supernatural resurrection or prosecuting an attempted murder. Bose weighed the cumulative case, recognition, physical marks, conduct, language, the Darjeeling evidence, and the proposed Punjabi identity. No single clue carried the whole judgment. In August 1936, Bose ruled for the claimant and declared him to be Kumar Ramendra Narayan Roy. The decree awarded possession of the undivided one-third share at issue. The primary records preserve a date conflict. The printed trial volume gives 24th August, while the later Privy Council narrative recites 21 August. The result itself is not disputed. The case had already crossed decades. The disputed death in 1909, the declaration in 1921, the suit in 1930, and the trial judgment in 1936. But two appeals remained. The Calcutta High Court heard the appeal through a special bench of Justices Leonard Costello, Charu Chandra Biswas, and Ronald Lodge. Their opinions did not agree. Costello and Biswas formed the majority that left the trial decree standing. Lodge dissented, preserving a judicial argument that the claimant had not proved the identity. The judge's opinions were read over several dates in August 1940. The formal final order came on the 25th of November, dismissing the appeal by majority. The defendants carried their final appeal to the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council in London. The mystery born in Darjeeling now reached the summit of the imperial legal system. By then, the surviving evidence filled volumes, yet the final tribunal did not approach those volumes, as though the entire trial were beginning again. On 30th of July 1946, the Privy Council dismissed the appeal. After courts in Dhaka and Calcutta had accepted the claimant's case, the final legal door swung shut. Its reasoning matters as much as its result. Both lower courts had reached concurrent factual findings and had personally inspected the claimant. The Privy Council discussed the funeral timing, eye color, and scars, but declined to reweigh the enormous factual record as if conducting a new trial. Legally, the claimant had won. He was recognized as the second Kumar for the civil action and entitled to the property interest established by the decree. That did not mean every part of his survival story became proven history. The courts decided identity and property, not poisoning, attempted murder, or supernatural resurrection. The storm remained disputed. The substitute body remained alleged. The Naga rescue depended on testimony, and the trial judge recognized that rescue was not itself proof of identity. The Mal Singh theory also remained disputed, rather than independently proven. Its witnesses persuaded the defense and the dissenting argument, but not the courts that controlled the decree. Later retellings added elephants recognizing their master, magical revival, and spiritual predictions. These stories shaped the legend, but they are not equivalent to primary courtroom evidence. Historian Partha Chatterjee used the case to examine legal truth, scientific evidence, cultural recognition, and weakening colonial authority. He did not claim to solve the claimant's biological identity. That uncertainty is not a weakness in the story. It is the story. Courts can reach a binding answer even when history cannot recover every vanished hour and missing year. One ending is certain. The claimant won in 1936, survived the divided High Court appeal in 1940, and prevailed when the Privy Council dismissed the final appeal in 1946. The other ending remains open. Was the ash-smeared claimant truly Ramendra Narayan Roy? Or did the courts accept the most extraordinary imposture of the colonial era? The law gave him a name, a title, and a share of Bhowal. What is your verdict on the man beneath the ash?